How are you doing? Today is definitely a different topic than I know you're used you're not used to me talking about these type of issues. Hey, Simply Tease Temple, Nahima Buckner, Katina, Sweetie Pie, and the Lurkers. You know, I want to talk about supernatural things in the future, anybody's experiences with things that's considered crazy. What do you believe in? Do I have people that follow me who are flat earthers, really believing that the earth is flat? And I'm into this type of stuff, the Area 51 stuff, time travel. Yes, I believe it's possible. I don't know. I don't believe you maybe can go back in time. I think maybe you could go forward in time. That's a whole different video. And today's topic is about land beyond the poles. I found out some information that I want to share with you. Hey, APBXNY. I want to just share some articles of things I've heard about regarding land beyond the North and South Pole, okay, and the possibility of a flat Earth. There are people who believe in this hardcore. Um, I did think, well, if there's land beyond the North and South Pole, perhaps the Earth would have to be flat for that. But then I said to myself, well, the Earth couldn't be flat because wouldn't the ocean waters just fall off the Earth or something? I don't know. But someone wrote me. And reportedly, there are people who have the hardcore evidence to back up that the earth is flat. They're very, very serious about this. So, okay, I'm going to keep it short. What I'm going to do, I'm going to pull up some articles real quick. Before I even do that, I want to put the call in number. Don't call yet, but I'm going to put the call in number. Um, in the chat, you'll see it at the top of the screen. So when it's time to call, if anybody wants to share their opinion of what do they believe in regarding these two topics, you can. So let me pull this whole chat up on my phone because once I show these articles, I won't be able to see what you're saying. So give me one quick little second, y'all. You know, I definitely don't mind any of you sharing with me your beliefs in the realm of science fiction or non-science fiction, all of your beliefs, any crazy things that's happened to you, and things that's considered, paranormal and stuff like that. I'm sure a number of you have some stories. Okay, so what I'm gonna do now, let's look at some articles. Let me make my picture a little bit smaller. Okay. And I'm going to read to you some things that I have seen regarding these issues, these topics. Okay. Matter of fact, hold on for a second. Okay. All right. Is there land beyond the South and the North Poles? According to this man, there was land beyond it. He even saw a mammoth. Listen, I believe anything is possible. Okay. Period. So, is there land beyond the South and North Poles? Yes. The man who knew too much. His name was Admiral Richard E. Byrd, and in his diary from 1947, he said, I'd like to see that land beyond the pole. The area beyond the pole is the center of a great unknown. Okay, this was written before his 7-hour flight beyond the North Pole. Okay, let's see. Let's see. Let me scroll down a little bit. Okay, this is just some information of people seeing a flying disc, a UFO in 1947 in September. the Department of Defense on December 18th, 1947. Okay, oh my God, from the Admiral Byrd, who said he saw the land beyond the poles. It says that his boss, James, a United States Secretary of the Navy and the first United States Secretary of Defense, started to talk after he retired. They placed him in a government loony bin, and he allegedly committed suicide by jumping out of a 16-story window in 1949. Okay? So, oh my goodness. Okay. And the National Security Agency was founded by President Truman in 1952. So after the admiral said he saw land beyond the poles and all this stuff he saw, all these programs and the intelligence agencies started popping up. It started popping up. Okay, give me a quick little second. Okay, Admiral Byrd establishes a satellite base at the South Pole in 1955. And if you didn't know, y'all, you cannot go to certain parts of the North and South Pole. The government forbids it. So there are people who are like, why can't you go to certain areas in the North and South Pole? What is the government trying to keep you from going near? There have been so many movies of UFO ships that's crashed in the ice and all types of secret stuff going on in the North and South Pole. I mean, it's the perfect place to hide something because nobody really wants to go there. This is him, okay, Admiral Byrd. He said that the South Polar Expedition is the most important in the history of the world. On January 13th, 1956, him and his crew flew 2,300 miles over land beyond the South Pole. He said he saw a different type of land. He said he thought it would only be snow and ice, but was surprised to see endless land, mountains, forests, and a large mammoth animal. So, hey, what happened to all the ice? He said no, it was land, forest, a mammoth that supposedly went extinct. So, if it's true, okay, if it's true, this man says there is no physical end to the Earth's north and south extent. It makes you think about the flight pattern. Okay. But airlines don't go over the water to the north or south, and it seems it could be a shortcut. Is there more to the Earth that scientists or the governments of this world aren't telling us? Is there more land, trees, rivers, and animals somewhere past all the icebergs and stuff that we see in videos and in pictures? Are we isolated from others that are on this planet? Could it be we don't know what's beyond the ice? This was in his diary in 1947. And then just a few short later, all these agencies for UFOs and all this other stuff start popping up. And his boss supposedly committed suicide after the government put him in a loony bin. It makes you wonder. Oh my goodness. Okay, in his diary, it says right here, we are crossing over the small mountain range and still proceeding northward as best as can be. Beyond the mountain range is what appears to be a valley with a small river and a stream running through the center portion. There should be no green valley below. Something is definitely wrong and abnormal here. We should be over ice and snow. During the 40s and 50s, there was a lot of strange stuff happening to keep the info secret. People died. Apparently, the government wanted people to think the North and South Pole as a place that you can't, live. It's freezing cold, not a vacation spot. But could it be that he briefed President Eisenhower and warned of a potential invasion, that they tossed him into a mental institution? It seems that the poles aren't on anyone's radar. They only see it as ice there. The government wanted to shut him up, possibly. So this is him. If you want to research about him, his name was Admiral Richard E. Byrd, Byrd. Okay, let's see another article regarding this topic. I have heard, besides this land beyond the northern pole, there are people who believe in the hollow earth / inner earth. There are people who have reported seeing a hole, a gateway in the North and South Pole, and that there is a whole society within the earth that we don't even know about. That there's the core and the sun and mountains and rivers. Let's see. The forbidden land of Agartha, and the mythical inner earth. There have been so many topics on that called Shangri-La. Have you ever heard of Shangri-La? That's supposedly a city within the earth. Okay, again, according to this man, Gianni, and Admiral Byrd again, in 1947, he said, "I like to see that land beyond the pole. That area beyond the pole is the center of great enigma. According to some, it's believed that during his flight over North Pole in 1947, he said there's no snow but huge trees, land with mountains, forests, and vegetation, huge lakes and rivers with animals that resemble mammoths again. Before his death, he said there existed a land beyond the pole." Okay. According to other theories, it's the legendary Rainbow City, home to a fabulous lost civilization. The possibility that the Earth is hollow and that it can be accessed through the North and South poles, and that a secret civilization flourishes within it, has spurred the imagination of people throughout the centuries. Evidence of this, the Babylonian hero Gilgamesh visited, let's get through some of this. Some people said it's Hell, hell down there. The pharaohs of Egypt communicated with the underworld, which could be, you can get through there through secret tunnels, through the pyramids. The Buddhists still believe that millions of people live in Agartha, an underground paradise ruled by the king of the world. Let's see. Okay, so Agartha is supposedly the land in the inner earth, a city with people and beings and animals that live within the inner earth. You can get in the inner earth, they say, through the North and South Pole, that there are holes to get in there. Okay? More about the inner earth. Let's see. So this is, a drawing of how Agartha looks. At the top and the bottom, you got North and South Poles, the gateways to get in. Okay? They have a central sun, they say. And you see, someone drew the ways you can get in. Let me zoom in. You have down below, look, Brazil. There's a way to get in through Brazil. Kentucky, reportedly in Kentucky. Okay. The Pyramid of Giza. There's a gateway to get in. In Italy, a gateway to get in. Okay. Some of, let's see. So the green part, that's the city of Agartha. They say Shangri-La, Shambhala is on the left. Okay. And they have a central sun. You have the waters, the oceans. Michelle A says, Michelle is like, is this a joke, right? According to some people, this is real. This is real to some people. I've heard this before. There are ways to get inside the inner earth. you know, and there's all types of stuff going on inside the inner earth. Okay. All right. So it's called Agartha and Shangri-La. All right. Let's see some more another picture. See, you got the North and the South poles. And apparently there's this huge hole on both sides to get inside the inner earth. I believe anything is possible. I mean, I'm sure who God knows what's going on inside the earth. Who knows? Let's see. And then lastly, the people who believe in the flat earth. Again, I don't really believe, okay, I don't really have much information right now. This is more just a call-in show. I wanted people who really just believe in this stuff to call in and you share your opinion, your beliefs regarding this stuff. You can share what you think. But there are people who believe in a flat earth. Um, again, me personally, I feel like wouldn't the water just fall off the earth if the earth was flat? I mean, I don't believe in the flat earth, but there are a growing number of people who do believe in it. So this video today is not about, just flat earth. I really just wanted to share with you that apparently there is land beyond the North and the South Pole. If I had the money and the resources, I would put a crew together and I would like to see myself if it's actually true. S. Gord says we are living in a simulated reality. I really need you to call up with that because I've heard of that and I'm sorry. I don't know if I believe that. I have thought that before, but that's kind of scary. Why is this man picture blurred out all of a sudden? Do you see this? I did not do this. Okay. All right. Okay. For those new again, he said that he had an expedition, 1947. He flew beyond the north and beyond the South Pole. He saw land. Okay, he said that it was a different type of land. He thought it would only be snow and ice, but he saw an endless land, mountains, forests, and a large mammoth animal. Okay, Admiral Richard E. Byrd. He said that there is no physical end to the Earth's north and south pole. That would make me think it's the Earth flat, hearing something like that. So, okay, what I'm gonna do now? Give me a second. I did say I wasn't going to keep it too long today. I'm going to pull up this number. The phone line is open while I'm talking. Okay, S. Gord, you believe that we are living in a simulated reality. So you're saying that our world is fake? Are we are we in the Matrix? Are we in a computer program? Is that what you're trying to say? And what kind of, if I would probably fall and faint if I were to find out something like that, because that's just too much to I can't, no. I wouldn't want to believe it, but if it's a computer program, who's running the computers? Everything around you is fake. Somebody controlling every move and everything that you see like a game. I want more detail. I want more detail. So I need you to call up and tell the world. You said the only place where we can access as regular civilians. I need you to give me more details. Definitely. Do you believe there is land beyond the North and South Pole, that there is forests, trees, mammoths, animals? God knows, because we don't know. We only know what we see on TV. What if there are, some people believe there are many other civilizations, different continents that we don't even know about. Do we really know how the earth really looks? It was drawn up by people. What if it's all a lie? Okay. The flat earth thing, I mean, I think I have some people that believe in the flat earth. Tell us why the flat earth exists. Satan's little helper. You're saying that this is too much for me. Your name is disturbing, Satan little helper. You know, this is disturbing. What kind of, listen, everybody can pick their own little names, but that sounds disturbing. But yes, thank you so much, Art of Aries. I like to talk about different stuff. I'm into different stuff. The Matrix to me is one of the greatest films that's ever been done, period. It was genius. And I have believed that maybe the Matrix was real. A lot of stuff in that movie, I'm like, man, I know exactly what they're talking about. I've experienced similar things. But the Matrix was a simulation, right? So is that what you're trying to say we're in? What if you were to wake up like Neo and find out you're plugged up by a machine feeding you uh gook from dead bodies and that the real humans live somewhere else and all types of stuff? Would you really want to come out the Matrix if you found out? Would you take the red pill, or what was it, the blue or the red pill? Would you rather stay in this world you think you know than wake up to what you would probably think is a nightmare? What would you choose? Oh, Miss Sincere. Hello?
Hey, Cindy girl.
Hey, Miss Sincere.
How you doing?
I'm all right.
I have a few things to say about the topic that's on hand because
One thing though, am I on speaker? I can't hear you that great.
oh no, I took it off the speaker. Can you hear me better now? Or is it bad?
Yeah,
is that so bad?
It's better now.
Okay. So oh my gosh, this topic is like so overwhelming for me because like I've always been into conspiracy stuff since I was like 12 years old.
Okay.
Sorry, my phone had a text message come in. So, about the North and South Poles, I can talk a little bit about the South Pole, like the conspiracies that I've heard about the South Pole. Um, from what I understand, like with the South Pole, the reason why like it's not as accessible to people like the North Pole is because like our government, um, has a treaty with, I guess you could say, extraterrestrial, and like there's been a lot of like I don't know, conspiracy movies. Like, it's one conspiracy movie on YouTube about, I forget what it's called, but it's like the whole movie is like you go underground through somewhere in Antarctica, and there's like whole dinosaurs and ecosystems like underground in Antarctica, and like it's the same thing. You ever heard of the movie Journey to the Center of the Earth?
Yes.
Okay, it's the same thing like in that movie, Journey to the Center of the Earth. And there was another one on YouTube. I forget the name. I think it's Iron something. I forget what it's called, but I don't remember what it's called. But the one thing I do like to say is from what I have heard, like in recent conspiracy theory, um, so I go on like BitChute and Rumble and Brighteon, and there's I forget their names, but this is one guy who's constantly talking about like all the earthquakes that we've been experiencing in like the recent years, and also the geologists had changed like the Richter scale as well. So an earthquake that might have been a 9 on the scale is maybe like a 7 now, or I don't know how to think works, but I know they changed it like years ago. And from what I'm understanding is that the inner Earth is real from like the North Pole and South Pole, and that there are like ancient tunnels that like under the Earth that date back even till I guess before what people would call the flood or the deluge. And what our government has been doing, of course, you know, our government is nosy. This is what I heard. This is all conspiracy, so we're gonna just stay on like the conspiracy side. But I personally believe this is true. But from what our government has been doing is that they have these deep underground bases, and that they just dig really, really deep underground, and they're connecting with like all these old tunnels, and that they're keeping people down there for slave labor. And there's also a conspiracy theory that underground, like there's these like in the movie Journey to the Center of the Earth, there's these monsters that live in the earth. And it's like they're called reptilians, but I know I'm kind of going a little far off. But I don't personally believe in the flat Earth. I don't think the Earth is flat. But I've heard some wild stories like on the conspiracy sites about Antarctica, that there being monsters there, and people that have flown over Antarctica in places that they shouldn't have flown over in Antarctica, a team, and they just saw like UFOs going in and out of like a hole in Antarctica, and that in Antarctica it's not really cold, but it's only cold to a certain point. But if you go far enough in Antarctica, there's actual trees, greenery, shrubs, like the whole 9 yards. And then of course Admiral Byrd. I think that was Admiral Byrd. I think it was Admiral Byrd. I actually heard of two different stories. It was one expedition, I believe, to the North Pole, where this guy was like transported to a whole nother realm, and then there was another expedition down to the South Pole where they said UFOs had came out of the water and started destroying their ships, and that it was really the Nazis that had went down to the South Pole and kind of nestled there.
Yes, I've heard that.
Yep. Yeah. I'm sorry, I'm talking so much because there's just like so much stuff.
I actually had like I had some I had a list of questions, but you're answering them. I was going to ask you, do you believe that the aliens are in the ocean? I mean, it's the perfect hiding place. Do you think so?
Absolutely. I do believe that they're also in the ocean, and that there's like entrances to the inner earth in the ocean. And I feel like one of the main reasons for deep underground bases is because I feel like a lot of our politicians, like these high ranking people, I've heard like, what was his name? Jeffrey Epstein. I heard Jeffrey Epstein isn't really dead, and that he's in one of his deep underground military bases. Not military bases, but there's a base underground, particularly in Brazil. There's a huge base underground where these rich people are just living lavishly. And I've heard stories that a lot of these rich people, millionaires and billionaires, they have these deep underground like installations that have food for like 100 years, and it's like a 5-star resort, and they got greenery and shrubs and just the whole 9 yards, and like whole cities. Like these people have been spending our tax money and using the black military budget from like the drugs from the cartel. Okay, oh my gosh, I'm all over the place here. So, for instance, like the cartel, all that money, like they seize from the cartel and they go to court, and so they can have it and use it for their department in the military. From what I understand, they use those funds to help build these deep underground military bases. And there's also something called the black budget that's not even seen from the American people, and it doesn't even come from American tax dollars. From what I understand, the government is also facilitating. I wouldn't say it's all of the government, but there's a portion of the government that has, and not just the American government, globally, there's a portion of every single government in the world that has a good side and a bad side. And the bad side is from what I heard, is using people and children for like to sell organs, adrenochrome, like beauty products down there. And they do all of this underground, and they're also doing a whole bunch of other nefarious stuff. But I'm understanding that they're using actual people to make money and get like rare things that are not found anywhere else. Like for instance, if you're black, melanin in your skin it's a very expensive compound or chemical or whatever you want to call it. So that can be sold. Also, adrenochrome. I don't know if you've seen that movie with Johnny Depp. I think it's called Fear and Loathing. They mentioned adrenochrome in there. So, also, your organs are worth a lot of money. So, I mean, that's the biggest money maker that I have heard is that they're mainly using the underground to, move their drugs, human trafficking, sex slavery, just the whole 9 yards. And that's how they're making most of their money, so they can build all of these underground bases that connect with a lot of these ancient tunnels between Antarctica and as well the North Pole. And what makes it even worse is that I also heard that the UFOs, they have pacts with the aliens to get technology and are basically giving people to them. They're all the aliens need for some reason the aliens need human blood, organs, the whole 9 yards. Well, so they've made pacts with the aliens to get all that stuff. The aliens are also underground working with them.
I did hear. I heard the climate change is happening because they like it to be hot, and that's why they keep trying to make this planet hot. And I'm not sure, but I believe in some of that stuff. Do you think that the reason they got that treaty with them in the South Pole, is that why it's off limits that human beings can't, go to certain parts of the poles because the aliens is there?
I don't know. The weird thing about it is, if they didn't have nothing to hide, then why would they not let people go there? When the government seals stuff off, then why would they not let people go there? That's the only thing. Like, it's the same thing. Like and the whole thing is the government is ran by men. Like, the majority of governments in the world is ran by men. So I automatically assume that they don't have a problem lying to us. And I automatically assume that whatever they tell us, I probably need to believe the exact opposite of what they tell us, because I just know how men are. And, when a man is like hiding something, whether it's his phone or whatever, or that he don't want you to see something, then that means that it's something going on that you probably need to know.
Yeah.
And once I kind of figured out how men operate and how they think, normally, like, whatever they put out to us in the public, that we probably can't believe it. And the old me wouldn't have believed this stuff. But then when I actually saw like how many children and how many people go missing every single year, and we're not even finding their bodies,
it's scary.
The whole thing is, if you go missing, hold on. If you go missing, it's like, unless somebody strategically is coordinating and throwing these people into the ocean, the bottom of the ocean, it's like, if it's not some nefarious thing that's going on, then why are these people's bodies not finding out and popping up in like the woods or something like that? Like, these people have to be going somewhere. And then all these drugs that are coming into this country, it's like, how is all these drugs getting into this country and nobody notices? Like, all the drugs, the cocaine, the weed, the heroin, and all this other crazy stuff. Like, how is all of this stuff getting from South America to here and nobody notices it? Like, the CIA and our government is working with these people, and they're using this to make money off of it. And I'm sorry, I'm it's just so much stuff that just, yeah. Yeah.
I think it's so cool to find.
People are gonna call me crazy. Like, people are gonna call me crazy for believing all this stuff. But the thing about it is, when I really did a deep dive on like the earthquakes and the missing people, and I try to like put like 1 + 1 is supposed to equal 2, but 1 + 1 wasn't equaling, like, the numbers. The math was not adding up. And when I really did a deep dive, and I'm like, the only possible thing that could possibly make sense is this, and this. And the other thing I didn't understand is, like, and I'm about to get off because I know I'm going like way off the subject here. But the other thing I didn't understand is that, if it was one movie called, I don't know, it was in Alaska, it was Miss Milia Jovovich, about a real scenario about aliens abducting.
The Fourth Kind.
The Fourth Kind.
That shit was scary. I can't watch it.
What I never understood is that if the government didn't know what was going on and the government was not lying to us, why is it that when people constantly report and complain and say these things happening, they just ignore it, and they haven't even said anything publicly about it? And it's happening on such a mass and wide scale. Like, it's happening on such a mass and wide scale that I have literally seen all crazy.
Miss
Even where I live
Sincere,
at now, to this day, I see crazy stuff.
give me 1 second. I am tired of, listen, Robert Epps and Steve, you know who you are? First of all, the title is What Do You Believe In? I never said that the earth was flat. So I'm getting tired of people saying cerebral, making fun of me. I didn't say the earth is flat. I'm asking y'all, do you believe the earth is flat? Because there are people who believe this. Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Miss Sincere.
It's okay. It's okay. But the point I'm trying to make is that, you know, if they weren't doing something nefarious and if they weren't lying to us, then why? You know, why don't they come out and publicly say, hey, this is what these lights are? Or, hey, people are reporting this, and this. You know, do you see what I'm saying?
Yes, do you believe that I personally think that it is strange that we can go into space and do all this stuff, but yet the ocean, only 1% they claim has been explored. We don't even know what's in the ocean. It's a lie. No, something is down there. Okay, there have been plenty of reports of the UFOs coming up out of the water. Something is down there. And I know that there are different types of species we have yet to discover that's in the water. Why come we're not trying to discover our own planet? Okay, also, you mentioned the technology. Yeah, I do find it strange that every year we could come out with the best technology, but yet culturally we're still behind on a global scale. Humans are still fighting over the dumbest shit, still practicing the most strangest cultural beliefs in some parts of the world, but yet we have all this technology. No, you know what? They said ever since the Roswell crash, that's when technology got advanced because they was taking stuff from out of Roswell and working with them. I'm not 100% sure, but I do find it to be strange. Do you believe that there are other dimensions, Miss Sincere?
From what I understand, yes, because the way the UFOs work, like how they could just defy all the laws of physics. Like you can't defy the laws of physics. But from what I understand is that the way the UFOs work is that they phase in and out of another dimension that's outside of our space and time, and that's what allows them to move the way that they move. Because the way those UFOs move and how they go underwater, it's not possible for that to happen. Like even if I've heard stories of like even when people go on the UFO will look extremely small on the outside, but when they go on the inside of it, it's huge. But what it is that it's disappearing out of this dimension and kind of phasing you into another dimension.
You know what?
So yeah.
So if they can then do all this stuff, so do you believe time travel is possible then if you can bend time, light, and everything like that?
Absolutely. I think so. I think it's possible.
Okay. All right. So I thank you, Miss Sincere. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Tell us more.
Well, my other thing is that, that bothers me, people are just like, I hate to dive into this, but when people say, I'm crazy or this, that, or third, or I need to be in a mental hospital, and I don't think people, like, for someone like me, there's a reason why I think like this, because I've had some, I'm not going to go into it too much, but I've had some paranormal experiences as a child.
Yes. Me too.
It just didn't make any sense. And that's what kind of pushed me into believing, like, all of this crazy stuff, because there have been some things that I have seen. And another thing is that in regards to the deep underground military bases, in the inner earth, from what I understand is that there have been people, like actual people that have been down there and that they have came back up, but, a lot of them are too afraid to tell their stories. But again, that falls into conspiracy because unless you can go to these places and actually see them, some people wouldn't believe it unless, okay, let's go here, 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 and here. But they don't understand how well guarded, like, these entrances to these deep underground military bases is. Like, if you even remotely, I heard there's one in Saudi Arabia in the middle of nowhere in the desert that if you even look like you're getting close to it or coming in that direction, they have guns that will just shoot and kill you. No questions asked. They don't care who you are. Like, I heard a lot of these places are so well protected that you can't even get close. Now, unless a whole bunch of people, like 1,000 people, decide, hey, we're gonna bum rush, wherever we think these entrances to these deep underground military bases is, and they bring like cameras and stuff to tell everybody on social media where they're going, and that's the only way I think that they're not gonna be able to get away with killing a whole bunch of people, or killing 1 or 2, 3 people. That's one thing, but if people don't believe it, I'm just like, okay, well, get 1,000 or 2,000, or start organizing and figuring out where these bases are, and try and go there and see how that works out.
Okay. Well, I'm so happy that you shared this information. Of course, we have non-believers and this stuff in the chat saying, this stuff is crazy. We sound crazy. Robert Epps says the so-called UFOs were made by black people. Yeah, we made it, but they let you go through slavery and didn't rescue you and let you stay down here. If they loved us so much, why come they ain't show themselves yet and say, hey, we black and come get us? I ain't trying to hear that, Robert. Ain't no way. I'm sorry. Stop. Okay. Thank you, Miss Sincere.
All right. I'll talk to you later.
Bye. Hey, I wasn't shocked by the responses in the chat. I know that everybody got different beliefs. You're going to call people crazy and stuff. Everybody has different experiences. I think everybody, mostly on here, have had, a paranormal experience in their life. Okay? Josh, you up there laughing, you don't believe. Josh, listen, the heavens is space, the mansions in the kingdom are the different planets. I don't believe for a second that humans are the only intelligent life created. Every animal and species is intelligent in their own way on this planet. If God created us and all these different looking species, why can't I believe, or anyone else believe, that there are different types of species and life forms on different planets? You don't need water for life. When I hear scientists say, well, we didn't see water, so it's no life. Hello, you are a human. You need water. You're talking about something on a different planet. They don't have to have what you have to live, or they're not like you. Of course, there are different things on every planet that you can't see or understand because you are a human. They're not human. Hello. They don't need what you need to live. So stop thinking that water is the answer for life on every planet. It's ridiculous to me. It's not. Okay. Yes. Yeah, they're different. Yes, if we were to see the UFOs and it opens up and we see what's on it, we probably would pass out. Of course, if they don't look like us. I mean, Jesus, if they look like them creatures we see on TV, like, I can't believe something like this is flying a UFO and stuff. But anything is possible as far as land beyond the poles. There is true. The government does block off areas in the North and South Pole. You're not allowed to go beyond certain places. If they're not covering up something, why can't we see what's beyond it? The ocean. We have heard plenty of stories of big ass spaceships, UFOs coming out of the water. I mean, they have incredible technology. Of course, going under the water is a perfect hiding place. God knows what's under the ocean. The scientists only claim to have explored 1%. 1%? You mean you can go to Mars and stuff, but you don't even know what's in your own ocean? No, I'm not trying to hear that. Yeah, if they look, Robert, where's your evidence they look like black people? Because every damn person that has described these damn vegan, what are they called? Whatever, the aliens, they are always tall and white and shit, or gray and stuff. Where's your evidence they look like black people? Because I haven't seen it. And if they love the black people so much, why come they haven't come down and shown us, hey, we're your people. Let's leave this planet. I know y'all went through slavery. Y'all mad about it. We're going to get you out of here. Know that we've been observing it the whole time. Robert should call in because you don't have no evidence they look like black people. Not one. Not one. Shit. I want to see the evidence. Y'all always believing in, like you, Robert, them ancient technology and stuff. Where is it at now? Okay. because black people don't have none of that ancient stuff. Oh, please. Minister Farrakhan, he says he believes in the great mothership and that they up there. Yeah, but they let you stay in slavery for that long and didn't do nothing, and they're your people? Farrakhan did not go up in the spaceship. He says he believes in it, but he didn't actually go up in the spaceship. I mean, goodness. I hate hearing about, oh, we had ancient technology, this, and where is the evidence at? Because has it helped us? Because look at where we're at now as black people. I'm not even trying to hear it. I could have sworn I blocked you, Robert. How in the hell did you get back here? But no, Farrakhan did not go up in the spaceship. He believes in it, but he didn't go up in it. So the phone line is open. Are there any people who believe in flat earth? Anybody who believes that there is land beyond the North and South Pole? Anybody who believes that there's a gateway throughout different parts of the earth to get inside the inner earth, and that there are actually societies with inside the earth of different people, including humans, that are inside of the earth? Agartha, Shangri-La are some of the most well-known cities, they say, that's inside of the earth. Well, Robert, how about you ask the aliens that look like you to come down and take you up out of the United States or this whole planet that you can't stand, living with white people? Why don't you ask them to do that for you? If they love you so much and they're you, the aliens. Oh my goodness. Miss Sincere, you really brung the heat because I've heard, listen, there was a time I was heavily into that stuff, but something just happened where I kind of backed away from some of those beliefs. I do believe there are different types of life forms. I do believe that. I think God created a lot of different things. But I've known someone who swear to God they saw a UFO. They have been saying the same story for years, and I believe them, but as far as the underground stuff going on, well, you never know. It is very telling that there are over, what, 600,000 people missing, and none of them have been found and stuff. The cow mutilations that have been found dropped from the sky. Um, the crop circles, just a lot of strange things. Well, the word alien, when I think of alien, Robert, I don't just think of green, little gray, slimy looking things with big eyes. I have heard of humanoid aliens where they look human, they look like us. I don't believe they have to all look scary. They're just not from the planet. That's all. When you're an alien, it means you're not from there. If someone is not from the United States, they're called an alien. So it just means foreign, not from here. They don't have to look crazy, all of them and all that stuff. They're just not from here, you know? I have heard that some of the aliens look human and stuff like that. I've heard a lot of different stuff. Yeah. Sparkle, I've heard about the Nephilim, the angels from heaven. It's in the Bible that they slept with women. They weren't supposed to do that and created a hybrid species that was very tall and big skulls and stuff, and that they were punished for it on the earth and all types of stuff. I've heard about that. So I've heard about that too, Josh. I don't like to repeat what they're called because it kind of scares me. Um, I've heard all types of different stuff. It is scary. It's very interesting. It's very scary. But I do believe that there are different life forms. some can look human. I do believe that the government is a conspiracy, this technology. How can you be technologically advanced so well, but culturally so not advanced on a global scale, with fighting over the pettiest things as humans? Some are, like I said, crazy belief systems, but yet this technology is so advanced. Something doesn't make sense with that. Um, Time travel, I mean, is it possible to tear a fabric in space and time? Yes. If you saw that movie Interstellar, you probably would believe more if you see that movie. I do think it's a conspiracy that the oceans have not been explored like they claim. I think that even if it's not alien life down there, I believe that there are different type of species and life forms we've never even seen that's down there because it's so big and vast. Do I think there are holes to get inside the inner earth? Yes, I do. Does that mean it's aliens down there? No, but who knows what's in there? I've heard all types of different stuff. Robert, you don't have any evidence to prove that the mother plane was built from 1909 to 1929. I'm tired of people like you saying this stuff, but you never have any evidence. Show me the documents. Show us. Take us there. I hate it. Even that's why I couldn't watch some of these shows anymore, like Ancient Aliens and stuff, because they're saying all this. Some of it sounds very believable, but you can't actually show us. You can't take us there. I get tired of hearing your pineal gland will give you time travel, but you don't show us how to use the pineal gland. You don't show us anything. There is no evidence. I need evidence. But it's, I understand if you believe in something, but if you say it's true, can you prove it? There are so many people swearing to God, we can do this, we can do that. It's within us. It's the pineal gland. Show well, you haven't time travel. Okay, Dr. Sabi, he cured this, he cured that. Not one damn person came forth to show evidence. They just say this stuff. So he cured this, he cured that. Where are these people at that he cured? I don't even want to believe it, Miss Sincere, because I'm scared. I don't even want to be bothered with that. Uh-uh. My goodness. So, hey, Hot Locked Honey Princess. This is actually we're going on the hour mark. The phone line has been open, but no one else wants to call in. So, I just shared some articles of a man who said that he saw land beyond the North and the South Pole, and then his boss reportedly committed suicide. Then all these companies for the defense and the satellite intelligence, all types of stuff started coming out after he claimed that there was land beyond the North and the South Pole and the inner Earth stuff. So I want to thank you all who joined me. I will probably do a part two. Um, Make sure you check out my community section because I will post things to let you know what the next topics can be sometimes. And I just want to thank you all for having an open mind about these topics. And I know it was funny because some of y'all were laughing in the chat like this is crazy. Um, but it's good to talk about different things and hear different perspectives on stuff. So, um, you know, I can't wait to possibly do a show asking some of you about your paranormal experiences. I know a lot of you have had supernatural, paranormal things happen to you that cannot be explained. Some of you probably have been holding secrets in for years regarding these things, too afraid to tell people about what you've experienced. I've had crazy ass things happen to me when I was little that scared me. So I thank you all again for joining me, and I cannot wait to hear more about these topics about the sci fi world, the supernatural, paranormal world. And this will be great, and it will be, Josh. And thank you so much for joining with me. Check my community section this week because I have another great topic coming up that we're going to talk about. So, thank you all so much. Have a good night.